and have these conversations and hear from you what you think should be done in every viable sector that makes up the Nigerian country. That is basically what we do right here on Issues in the News. And today is just like one of those days where we get to talk about intricate situations and have persons who are in the right positions to talk about it. And our conversation today will focus on security as a build-up to the 2023 elections and contemporary issues on community and personal consciousness to risk. I'm going to introduce my guest soon, but I need to help us understand why the conversation is tilted towards this today. The campaigns are already on, and we're beginning to see exactly what is already taking place. We're beginning to see the drama. We're beginning to see some situations occurring across several parts of the country. And yesterday, if you're on the conversation with us when we were talking, where we were discussing the right attitude, during the campaigns towards the 2023 elections, when Mr. Enwonwu was here, we spoke about the right space of mind to have during the elections and the attitude that we need to put in our consciousness so that we do not put ourselves at risk. Today we're going further. We're talking about the security implications and the security consciousness you have to imbibe within your subconscious now that the elections are on. Now let's talk about effective policing. All right, effective policing in Nigeria, they say, is almost impossible unless there are fundamental changes. Remember that most times when we talk about policing, the state of policing, the attitude of the police towards the people, there is a huge vacuum. There's a gap. There's no friendliness. They say the police is your friend. You're supposed to go to the police and talk to the police whenever there are situations and feel confident to call on their aid so they help you. But unfortunately, that is not the case in this part of the country, and we're going to be looking at that. Now, the constraints faced by the police are used as excuses for various misconduct and unprofessional behaviors by many officers of the force. However, despite many attempts by the leadership of the police to enforce discipline and even, do away with a few bad eggs, improper conduct by the police undermines their ability to fight the pervasive insecurity across the country. The police, or rather the Nigeria Police Force, is the primary agency of civil security in the country. How the police are organized, managed, governed, and funded can determine its ability to deliver on its constitutional mandate of protecting the life and property of Nigerians. Now, understanding these dynamics can help in appreciating what needs to be done to improve security in the country. Now, to discuss the conversation proper this morning, right in the studio, is CP Chuks Enwonwu, retired. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm good.
How was your journey down here?
Oh, very smooth.
You look well and good, I must say.
Yes.
Well
please.
done and welcome to the program.
Thank you so much.
All right, sir, you are the person in the right fit to discuss what we need to talk about today, and there is a reason for it. All right, but before we delve into the conversation, let me intimate you a little, all right, on his profile. He is an indigene of Onitsha North Local Government area of Anambra State. Am I right? Good. And he's an alumnus of the prestigious University of Nigeria in Nsukka, Enugu State, where he bagged a BSc in psychology in 1984. I wasn't born then. He was appointed into the Nigeria Police Force as a cadet assistant superintendent of police, and of course was trained at the Nigeria Police Academy, Annex, Kaduna State, right? He was an assistant commissioner of police between 2008 to 2016. He was also ACP INEC Abuja, the AC Operations Airport FHQ Annex Lagos, and AC Ops, that's operations, in both Delta and Bayelsa States Police Commands. And on his elevation to DC rank in 2016, he was Deputy Commissioner of Police, Police College, Oji River, and DCCID Uyo Akwa Ibom, DC Operations Airport Lagos, and DC Administration's River State Command Port Harcourt. Sequel to this, he was a CP Special Protection Unit Force Headquarters, Abuja, until his redeployment to Oyo State Police Command. That's a lot. That means you obviously are on the know in every terrain across the country. The profession that you're into has taken you to so many places, and I'm sure in the course of this you've experienced a lot of things. You've seen a lot of things in the course of your job. I want to ask you a question. What were the challenges you experienced during the course of your disposition to the job?
Well, if I should start, the challenges had been enormous. First and foremost, the essence of being a police officer is for you to provide security of lives and property.
Property.
Lo and behold, you come and find yourself in strange environment. An environment where the people hardly understand the concept of policing. That's where the basic problem starts. And furthermore, you need to connect yourself with the people. Try to build some level of confidence and trust between you and the people. Once that is done, the people will feel free to relate with you, to cooperate with you, and it makes the policing easier. But be that as it may, in those good old days of the 90s, the security challenges were not that enormous. The communities and the people will always, one way or the other, cooperate with you. And it made it easier for us to police. But during that period in question, this issue of logistics had always been the challenge, because there has always been paucity of funds for police operations. So you find yourselves in a situation whereby it is the Police Community Relations Committees, PCRC, or well-meaning citizens of those various communities and states that will support your operations. Some will end up buying you vehicles or donating vehicles or buying parts and maintenance for those vehicles. So it has always been that challenge from one duty post to the other. Yes, that was what I went through.
All right. So let's come to the crux of the matter here.
Yes.
There is a dearth between the Nigerian people and its security officials. That relationship is not there at all. Nigerians do not trust the police officials. They feel that the police officials are not properly conducted. They feel that they are part of the crime and criminality going on within the country. They do not trust that they can go to the police and the police can resolve their problem. They feel that whether it is due to the situation, within the police in terms of welfare and all of that, they feel that the police take advantage of them, pilfer from them, puts them in situations that are not comfortable. And so that is basically what has actually caused the scenario. So when we look at the problem, we try to understand why we are experiencing such problems. And several times conversations have been held. We've tried to talk about how we can help ourselves create a scenario or an environment that is safe, for the police and the people to communicate, to have a common ground where the conversation can come on, and then they're able to explain why the environment or the atmosphere is such. There's an unfriendly environment between the police and the people. Because if we look at the state of security in Nigeria now, and the people feel there is no one to run to, there's no trust, they take things up themselves, and we know that it could degenerate to a state of anarchy. Why do we have that vacuum created between the police and the people?
Over the years, from experience, it appears that the police is misunderstood, especially by the larger population. The larger population, I mean, are those who are not that enlightened. they see police as object of brutality, object of oppression, and like somebody that is from the alien that has no connection to them there in the community, which is very, very wrong. So one thing I have always done in all the places I've worked is to create this atmosphere of relationship between me as a person, the police on one side, and the community on the other side, so that they will understand us and know that we are there for them. It is not as if we are there on our own. It is their taxpayers' money that is sustaining us, that provides our salaries and the uniform we wear. So, if for whatever reason there's a conflict or there is a misunderstanding between police and the personnel, the police personnel and the public, it is not right for somebody as a member of the public to begin to challenge the policeman who has firearms, who has the instruments to cause harm and possibly death. Whatever direction the policeman is going, don't even argue with him. Worst case scenario is that all of you will end up in the station. If you get to the station, then you now try to explain your side of the story to a third party who is there at the station. And good enough, we are in era of information and communication technology. So you can always place your call across to people who can help you. Now, if such persons come around, talk to the officer in charge, and is not giving them listening ear, they can go to the DPO. If the DPO feels that his alter ego is high and mighty, you forget about the DPO. You can go straight to the area commander. If the area commander is not responding appropriately, you go to the commissioner of police outright. Even if he's not there, his deputy is there. If the deputy is not there, the assistant commissioners of police are there. And they will now call the subordinate officers to order. There is no police officer of a high level that would degenerate to the extent of taking sides with his policemen, especially when he is sure that they are on the wrong side of the law or that they are doing the wrong thing. They will make sure that they do the needful by managing the situation appropriately. And if the policeman, the subordinate police officer, has erred and warrants sanctions, it will be appropriately dealt with. That has always been the scenario. Well, there are exceptions to the rule. There are some who may, I'm not saying, just watch my words. There are some who may not even be interested in listening to the hues and cries of the public. But the consequences is very, very expensive. And that is where people will now seek for self-help and take laws into their hands to seek for remedy, which is what we call jungle justice. It's very, very unlawful and should never be encouraged.
All right. Thank you for explaining that. So there are instances, especially here in Lagos, where residents, on several occasions on this program, when we talk about the state of policing, community policing, and some residents have called on this program or on other programs where we discuss things like this, and they say that they feel disconnected with the police. Certain times when issues occur and the police is close by, they turn turn the other side, either because they're actually afraid or they're not they do not have the necessary support within wherever it is they are. They let things, you just turn a blind eyes towards whatever it is that is going on. And I'm talking about some hoodlums in Lagos who seem to know this policeman somehow. So it seems like some of these policemen are afraid of the hoodlums. And it's become so bad that citizens what they rely on is on God and prayer to sustain and protect them while they go about their activities. And the scenario is also across every other part of the state, especially when you're traveling on some checkpoints on the road. You get to experience some of this police misconduct. They're supposed to ensure that people go about their travel safe, but you either hear them stop your vehicle, tell you they're searching you, and before you know, the conversation is tilting towards another thing and something else is happening. They take your phone, go through ease. That's something I even want to ask you. Is it right for the police to take your phone, go through your personal information? Is there not supposed to be a warrant to do that? There are so many behavioral dispositions from the police to the people that is questionable. And now that we are already in a tense atmosphere, like I said, the elections are close, and with the structure between all these political parties, this is my supporter, I'm supporting this person, I'm supporting this person, things could go out of hand. We need to talk about the preparedness of the police in order to curtail the excessiveness of the supporters and see how we can make sure that activities within the country go on normal while maintaining peace and cohesion amongst the civilians. So I need you to explain better. Why do we have the police behave like this? Especially, like I mentioned, where they see something and they don't immediately do something about it. That's number one. Number two, do they have the right to invade people's privacy in the name of they're checking or looking for somebody? There have been several stories about that. I need you to explain that better.
Okay, as regards the first question concerning seeing something and turning their faces the other side, I will not take that away from the experience they had during the EndSARS. During the EndSARS of 2020, they became targets. Something that started as peaceful protests later degenerated to the extent of going to stations to burn down police stations, attack policemen, collect their firearms, even to the extent of going to their barracks and burning down their barracks and their vehicles where their families live. You know, put yourself in their shoes. Anybody that would have gone through such an experience, how do you think he would feel? Lo and behold, we know that in every 12 there is a Judas. They must have been having some nasty experiences. But that wouldn't warrant to the extent of, number one, you pursue the man, you set his office ablaze, you collect his firearms, you go to the house where his family lives, set the place ablaze. That means if the family is there, you want to roast them off and close that chapter. You burn everything the man has, both the cars and so on and so forth. That psychological effect is what is really making them, some of them anyway, who have not recovered from that trauma, that is what is making them, I believe, behave that way.
Okay.
But that is not the solution. You know, because two wrongs can never make a right. It's been a while. I believe by now the wounds would have healed, because in some areas, during that time, I was a commissioner of police in Oyo State. I knew what I went through. And that may be subject of discussion for another day. Because if I open that chapter, we will not leave this studio today. I had the experience of where they even killed my policemen, roasted them, and ate their flesh in Iwo Road in Ibadan, Oyo State. And to some of them, they felt there was
It
nothing
devolved
wrong.
into cannibalism?
Yes! And some of them felt that there was nothing wrong in that. Is that supposed to be the way of protesting? They've gone beyond bounds. I mean, if you look at it holistically, issue of murder has come in. issue of malicious damage to people's property, a lot and other sundry issues if the culprits are caught. And at the end of the day, when some of the culprits were arrested, people turned the thing upside down and say, they didn't do anything, no, police have come again. No. You know, I was like, so people can be this mean, unreasonably sentimental? Because this is not an issue. I was wondering, is it that this humanity has gone off people overnight? So when you look at that, you can now see why that pain is still there in good number of them. But we began to counsel them. Before I left Oyo, I was trying to talk to them to put whatever had happened behind and move on, because that is an experience one should anticipate or expect while serving the public.
Wow, that was deep. But, some persons will say the reason why that devolved to that state was there was already pent-up issues. Things had, degenerated to a point where that's convergence at the time, that is the EndSARS in October 2020, was an opportunity for people to really go about their vengeance. Some people went extreme. But some people knew the policemen who had tortured them at some point, imprisoned them, or unconditionally without any proof, without, going through the process. So I think some of them targeted some specific persons to enact a vengeance. But all the same, I want to believe that the EndSARS was not the only, that was not a scenario that created this distance, that created this, will I call it unfriendliness? Let me not use the word hate between the people and the police. It has been ongoing. It's been a situation that has been ongoing. I think that was why you realized that SARS was disbanded, because that particular unit of the police, people complained that they were extreme when they were carrying out some of their excessive activities in the name of getting people, criminals or whatever investigation they were into. But let's move on now to the upcoming elections in 2023. On October 1, the Labour Party held a rally right here in Lagos across several locations. And I think in Ogun State as well, a rally was held. APC women leaders also held their rally here as well. And there were some instances that cropped up. Some of those supporters were arrested by the police. Most of them complained that the police did not give them a reason why they were arresting them. Also, there was an incident that took place during the weekend where some young boys somewhere were trying to maybe hoist the Labour Party flag, and some guys from the community or the area wanted to lynch them, to the extent that while they were trying to run away, they went after them, they hurt them. Now that we're beginning to see telltale signs of how things could devolve, what should Nigerians do? What kind of security consciousness should they apply?
Thank you so much. As a build-up to the coming election, 2023, it is incumbent on the government at all levels, as well as the police, who are the lead security agency in election management, election security management, to increase the level of awareness that they should impact on the public. Because it seems that a lot of people are ignorant. Forget the fact that they wear party t-shirts, carry the flags and the face caps and all that. Some of them don't even know their left from their right. They need a higher level of information and enlightenment to know that when you do certain things, you are infringing the law. That you need to be law-abiding. There are rules and regulations guiding the conduct of election. That you, as a Nigerian, you have your own rights, but your rights has its limits. There are certain limits you are now infringing on other people's rights. So you don't have any right whatsoever to go and stop people who are peaceful, conducting their campaigns, and trying to sell the image of their candidates. We have passed that level. It was possibly in the First Republic and Second Republic that we used to have clash between two political parties or rivals. We have entered the 21st century, for goodness sake. And I expect that we should be enlightened enough. The bottom line is, on the day of the election, go and cast your vote for your candidate. And be sure that your votes are secured. That's just the truth of the matter. It is not something you go on the street and start fighting or try to prevent people from going to exercise their civic duties, or you make efforts to disenfranchise people from voting. It is very, very unlawful, and it is contrary to the provisions of the Electoral Act. In other words, people should be, even if they are not literate enough to speak English, they should translate in various Nigerian languages to tell them, look, on so and so date, if they are either doing campaigns or they are going to have elections, you have no business to carry machete, no business to carry firearm, no business to carry iron bar, no business for you to carry inflammable substances like gas, petrol, or kerosene, and so on and so forth. No reason to even carry matches. Carry your PVC and your small change that you can use in buying water and gala or meat pie or whatever to strengthen your tummy while you're waiting on the queue to do your voting. That is the message we expect to convey to the people. And I believe they are not animals, they are human beings. I believe they will learn one or two things and continue to disseminate such information far into the rural domains.
Wow. Okay, so let's talk about what is your take actually on the centralization of the police structure? Are you of the note that the police should respond to the state command rather than from the federal government or for the Inspector General of Police?
How? Come again?
Okay, so there's an organizational situation within the police, right?
Yes.
So this is what happens. When it comes to effective policing,
yes.
Exactly. There's a system already in place here in the country.
Yes.
Now, so apparently, instructions from the Inspector General of Police.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Who receives instructions from the president rather than from state governors, right?
Yes. Yes.
The over-centralized structure of the police does not help it connect with the communities. So, for example, there's been a clamor for state policing over time. I want to hear from you. Do you believe in state policing rather than policing from the federal level?
Well, for now, the structure we have on ground has no problem with it. This issue of people thinking or believing that there is strict centralization is not the thing on ground.
Okay.
The Commissioner of Police at the states are the eyes and ears of the Inspector General of Police. The IGP cannot sit in Abuja and be telling the CP, do it like this or do it like that. That means the CP is not competent to be in that state, to run the affairs of the state. And there's no time IG would tell the Commissioner of Police, don't listen to your governor, don't take instructions from him, unless the instruction comes from from presidency or from himself. No such arrangement on ground, because I've been a state CP, a command CP. You are there and you are in charge of security in that state. And you have to work in tandem with the chief executive of the state, who is the chief security officer of the state, and that is the governor. So there's no conflict like that. It is only people that are magnifying, that are using it as an opportunity to begin to ask for state police. I believe that at the appropriate time, as time goes on, as the democracy evolves, if there is need and time for state police, it will naturally come. I was a child in the 60s. But in the 70s and 80s, when we were going through the political history, we saw the effect of those local policing they had, for local police structures in the region. If you are from the opposition party, no matter how you campaign, the government of the day in the region will use the regional police to clamp down on the opposition. I remember what Abubakar Remi, former governor of Kano, wrote those times when I was in the university. I was going through those bits. That in the 50s, he was running for an election. But because he was in the opposition party, he was on his bicycle. He was arrested by Dan Sander and detained till after the election. They now released him. By then, he had lost the election. They had done what they wanted to do. So, you see, with that at the back of the mind of many Nigerians, and with the long military interregnum we've had, we have come to meet the centralized police structure. And to the best of my knowledge and experience, it has been very effective.
So in other words, the whole state policing clamor is overblown. The structure in place is good for the dissemination of information and the appropriate structure for the police processing.
You have hit the nail on the head. That is it.
All right. Okay, you're currently listening to Issues in the News, and we have in the studio, as I told you earlier, a very an individual, all right, who has the right cap on the head to give us to extemporate what we need to talk about this morning, and that is CP Chuks Enwonwu. He's actually retired, but he's experienced, and he's here to tell us the endemic issues in policing. He's also here to tell us what it is, what risk management is all about, community policing, and the consciousness we need to imbibe now that the elections are close. We've been having this conversation right on from 10:30 this morning, okay? So I want you now to be part of the conversation, to call in, share your experiences with us. You know, if you've had any experiences or any run with the police, maybe somehow the relationship you've had with any of the police officials you've encountered had not really been friendly, or maybe somehow you were misinformed and you need to get yourself properly informed. The CP is here to put you on the right track, and whatever complaints you have or whatever conjectures you have, he can help you understand better. Meanwhile, we are live. You can virtually be part of the conversation this morning. You just go to the website www.voiceofthepeople.ng. Wherever you are in the world right now, you can view us, see us in the studio, and send your messages, call in on the program, ask your questions. The number to call, 0700 903 903 903, 0700 903 903 903. That is the number to call this morning on the program. Also, for your WhatsApp message, 0700 903 9039. And the conversation we're having this morning, which I talked about earlier, is effective policing, right? Especially on contemporary issues within the community and the personal consciousness when it comes to the 2023 elections. These are the vital information we need to keep ourselves abreast of, and there is a reason why we need to continue to talk about this, to inform ourselves about this. We need to have a peaceful election. I think the politics heated up. There's it's tense, and so for each of us right now, understanding the atmosphere and the scenario security wise, what measures should we apply?
Well, the way things are, we're already having a lot of security challenges. People need to know those around them. Try to profile them in your own little ways. And once be very, very sensitive about strange looking faces around your community. And once you are not too sure, get across to the police. Even if it is not the policeman you see on the road, go to the DPO. And possibly the other security agencies like the SSS and so on and so forth. And inform them that you're not too sure of, you're not comfortable with the character of ABCD, so that they can check them out. Because if you fail to do that, if the man, what you're doing now is what we call proactive policing. You're trying to prevent the man from committing havoc to the community. So before he can wreak havoc, it is good he is taken out, and the appropriate authority would have checked him out, he or her, and know exactly their purpose or reason for being in such neighborhoods. That is one. The second bit is that people should try as much as they can to monitor their movements. There's no need for people to move out at nights, depending on the area where they stay. If you're staying in areas that are not too safe, you'll be sure you're indoors as soon as it's getting dark. And they should have a bond in their various communities, have a relationship where they will try to know themselves on one-on-one basis. Know who and who are staying in your community and what exactly are they doing? What is their work? If it is not explainable, try to bring in people that will ask them questions.
All right, so let me ask you this. There are some communities where we can see thugs and hoodlums who really don't know, have anything to do. The residents who reside in such areas can see these people. Do you think if they report to the nearest police station around the neighborhood, that they would do something about these thugs? They literally stay close to these communities. They smoke, they take crystal meth, they involve in one mayhem or the other. Sometimes they harass individuals who are going about their activities. And there are police stations, stationed across some of these communities, especially, I'm going to take Lagos State, for example, especially here in Lagos. And some of the community members see this. On several occasions, they may have complained to the police, but maybe nothing has been done, so they decide to just stay out of the eyes of these thugs and hoodlums and make sure and just feel that one way or the other, so long as they do not come on the face of those people, they would not be harassed or intimidated. But somehow, the presence of these hoodlums and thugs are intimidating to the members of that community. What should we do about that?
Well, you see, some of the divisions, the DPOs and his personnel, his or her personnel, are incapacitated in terms of strength and in terms of capacity to overwhelm such suspicious element. If the community comes together and pick 1, 2, 3, or 4 persons to go and meet the division and place such complaint, and nothing positive is coming out of it, they have 2 other options. 1, they will either go to the headquarters and seek audience of the Commissioner of Police, or Two, they go to the SWAT office, who have the ability and capacity to come and survey the area. They will do what they call surveillance. Come and survey the area, get information on what they will need to mobilize to come and raid that place, because it is part of proactive policing to raid criminal hideouts. And then in the process, they may be lucky to recover arms, recover drugs, and recover a lot of criminal, terror instruments and all that. And when you recover and you're able to make arrests and connect it with the people, you do the needful. You do the diligent investigation and prosecute them. So that if at the end of the day they find themselves in correctional services detention center, so be it. And I'm sure if those raids are conducted, people will sleep with their two eyes closed.
0700 903 903 903 0700 903 903 903. That is the number to call on the program this morning. You can also send us a WhatsApp message on 0700 903 9039. And the conversation this morning is security as a build-up to the 2023 elections and contemporary issues on community and personal consciousness to risk. We do know that what makes up a society is a community, right? Community policing is vital. That's what keeps a sense of sanity within the neighborhood. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, first time caller.
Welcome to the program.
All right. I'm CJ calling from First Pakistan.
Okay.
Right. I want to ask, why is it sometimes you see, okay, for instance in Lagos State now, you see how they will block roads.
Mm-hmm.
And when they block roads, police will be somewhere there and allow them to do whatever they want to do. People will queue behind them. And the police will allow them. Sometimes the police will see past there and go their own, allow them to do what they want to do. But if it's soldier, the soldier will stop them from doing that. As in, not as if you want to stop them from doing their job, but at least for that moment when you see uniform person, at least give them space. Make space for others to go.
All right.
As in,
okay.
Hello?
I can hear you. Do you have a response to that question?
I didn't hear him clearly. Who did he say block the
So
road?
he said that there are times where hoodlums and
Okay.
all these thugs that we
Yes.
call agberos in Lagos,
Okay.
they block the road. They extort money from commuters, either
Yes.
commercial vehicle owners or private vehicle owners, and the police will be there to see these thugs conducting this activity but do nothing about it. So he's asking why. Does it mean that the police is in connivance with what these thugs are doing? Or like you were saying earlier, that they seem to be a little bit incapacitated?
Well, as regards this scenario you have just raised, it appears that these so-called talks must have been having the cover of the local government authorities. And it is left for the citizens so extorted to lodge official complaints to the police, not the ones on the road there doing the stop and search. Go to the station and report. Then it is left for the police to now investigate who exactly kept those people there. Because if police interferes and tell them to leave the place, clear them off the place, tomorrow the same local government will come back and complain against the police, maybe to the governor or to the media, that police is disrupting their activities, that what they are doing is in their bid to generate revenue for the state, that it is IGR, and you see yourself in a collision course between the police and the local government authorities.
Authorities.
So sometimes you find it difficult to discern whether these people are actually working for government. Sometimes also they come under the name of the National Union of Road Transport
Workers. Yeah.
In other words, they are targeting those who are their members, those people with registered buses or tricycle and so on and so forth. And they have an understanding amongst themselves of what one should pay, either on daily basis or weekly basis. I don't really know. But from what I have been able to infer over the years, there's something like that. And they've come to find out that these people are recalcitrant. Some of them will not come to pay unless you get them on the road. They'll be giving you excuses that they are on the road, they are trying to get their passengers, that they'll come later. So they feel that the best place to get them is on that road. Check them. If this one has failed to pay, we impound him. The one that pays will go. Then otherwise you pay them. But that does not at the same time
exonerate
them from some sharp practices. Some may even collect the money there. They won't even receipt for it. That is none of the business of the police anyway. But I strongly believe that this is exactly what is happening. But another thing too is that they have no reason whatsoever to harass other people who are not the members of the union. Like if you have your private vehicle and you're driving past, they have no business to stop you. That's none of their business. Or to tell you to where is this or where is that. They have no such business. So that's bit.
Okay. 0700 903 903 903. 0700 903 903 903. Have a retired police commissioner right here in the studio. And if you have experience, have any one-on-one experience, or you know somebody who had a brutal experience with any of the Nigerian police personnel, and you need to understand some certain things that you're not sure of, this is your opportunity to call it on the program and ask and verify so you know the right way to go about it. Hello, good morning. Hello? Please turn down the audio of your radio when you call so we can hear you properly. If you don't do that, we wouldn't take your call.
Okay, good morning.
Good morning.
The question the person asked is not actually what the officer is answering.
Okay.
Hello. The person is asking, saying that sometimes you see those able, not the people that collect the money, but they are hoodlums. In potholes, they will mount that place. Once they hold up the pothole, motor enter pothole, and go slow. You will see them jumping inside bus, taking people's phone, taking people's belongings, and sometimes the police will be around that side. That is what the person is asking. How we occur in this issue.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for calling.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. I now get this dimension. I didn't understand that
the first dimension.
I was thinking it was making reference to the union, this union people. Now, as regards that one, that is clear case of criminality. I should not be tolerated.
Let's take this call. Hello.
Hello. Good morning.
Good morning.
Please.
Name and location, please. Okay, Emmanuel, go ahead.
Yeah. It's concerning what you guys are discussing on the radio concerning police and agro.
Okay.
I want to give you an example.
Okay.
Like at the Solo, opposite General Hospital, there's a guy there collecting 100 naira from commuters, especially commercial vehicles.
Okay.
Collecting 100 naira. When you ask him money for what, he tell you money for police. And it's common at that Solo Hospital. At opposite General Hospital. And that's spread about after that General Hospital. They are collecting 100 naira from commercial vehicles. So most time I ask them, is it that now police is tackling, or because police is standing on the road, you must give them 100 naira every day. And if you don't give that money, any slightest mistake, they look for opportunity to hold you until you commit offense. When you park it, when other vehicles are always parking.
Okay. Thank you. You heard him.
Yes. What you have said is inappropriate too, and is unacceptable. There is no regulation in the police that allows anybody to stand on the road and be collecting money. So if it is a policeman that is collecting the money, it's punishable. If good enough, there is the social media these days. You can snap.
You remember when I asked you a question, I said, is it lawful
Yes.
for any police official to take a phone of any civilian, any individual, even if they are speaking with them about something, to go through their phone? Because right now what happens is, because the police is conscious of that, they don't let you take your phone to record them. They may even smash your phone. In fact, they could aggravate the situation. They could get aggravated, and the situation goes beyond what it was supposed to be. Once they see you want to record them.
Let me tell you one thing. The police have absolutely no right to invade your privacy or begin to look into your phone. To check the contents of the phone. That's not why he's there on the road. He's there to prevent crime and to protect the lives and property of both Nigerian citizens and foreigners in the country. So for him to...
Let's take this call.
Okay.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you very much. My name is Chris.
Your name is?
Chris.
Can you project better, Chris? I really am trying to hear you well.
Okay, I said my name is Chris.
All right, Chris, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm interested in contributing to this program.
All right.
The fact is that when you said police extortion, they are using civilians collecting money from all these commercial vehicles. You will see them, they will stand somewhere, these civilian area boys, they will be collecting money from them. Especially commercial. If you don't give them that money, they pack it. They don't even mind the passengers inside going to work, delaying them just like that. Or they say, come down.
All right.
Aspect of the whole again, you see them on the road, especially like all these truck drivers. We say, oh yeah, Owoda, give us our money. What is this, for God's sake?
All right. Thank you.
Police is seeing all these boys. They will pass them. They will not even talk to them. Even when you meet them, talk to them. Okay, look at what this boy is doing. He says, settle with them.
All right. Thank you for calling on the program.
Thank you.
Did you heard what he said?
Yes, I heard what he said. It's very unfortunate because so long as it is not the policeman that is collecting the money, it becomes difficult.
Hello. Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Beniza. I'm calling from Badagry area.
All right,
On the
Beniza.
of the program going on now. The last caller, the second to the last caller calling on now. Then if we pass Agbara, within to Okwafo, you will see a checking point there. In there's the Agboros there. There is where checking point, the police is supposed to check your vehicle and check the movement. But there is some boys there collecting the money. Then the one of them are living closer to my house. I went to the guy's place, asked him, this money that you people are collecting, and after that is those police that is there that they are collecting the money for. At the end of the day, they will deliver the money to the police, and police will settle them. Currently, as I'm speaking to you now, I believe they are hearing me. They are hearing me through the radio. Go there now, you will see them now. You will see them. All those boys are still there collecting the money to deliver it to the police. So this situation now, I don't know. It's not the first place. It's not the second place. Almost 4 area in between the Badagry to Agbara area is my area very well. As I'm speaking, as I am speaking to you now right now, go there now. You will find out that what I'm telling you now is truly. And if you didn't give them the money, the truck are paying 500 naira. If you didn't give them the money, they will pack you and delay you. And when you come down and meet the guys, they will tell you, pay your money. Pay your money for what?
All right.
What are we suffering for?
Thank you.
So, please.
Thank you.
It's very unfortunate.
Yes, it
and I'll advise every citizen, once you see a thing like this, go straight to the DPO of that area and report, and then watch for his reaction. So that when he fails to do the right thing, you can now go to the Commissioner of Police to bring this to his attention. And if you want to be anonymous, kind of, you may not go personally. The phone numbers of the DPOs are all over the walls of the station. Go there and copy, call him. If he fails to respond, send him SMS and give details of what has happened or what is happening. Give the time and date and wait for his reactions. If he fails to do that, you can go straight to the Commissioner of Police. And I assure you, what you see from the CP will really marvel you. Because the CP can never be,
in connivance.
But yes, he can never collaborate for all this type of.
Let's take this final call. Oh, we've lost the connection. Okay, so apparently this is a recurring activity.
Yes.
Most of the callers have complained about that.
Yes.
These thugs or these hoodlums say they're collecting the money for some police officers.
Yes.
They do not mention the names of these police officers, possibly for their security. Let's take this final call. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, my name is Vincent. I'm calling from Lagos.
Vincent from Lagos, please go ahead.
Yes, I've been able to listen to the Honorable Commissioner since he's been speaking. And the only thing I can hear from him is we should come to the police to report to the police to report to the police. Now, my question is, don't they have a kind of unit that monitor the activities of police in the state? Don't they have a kind of intelligent people that drives around on daily basis to see what their colleagues are doing? And I believe, as a citizen, I don't have the number to complain to, like the intelligence number that you want can call if you see any policeman doing what is not expected of him. That is number one. Number two, I want to believe that the police in Lagos, especially where my eyes can see, they are overstretched. They are overstretched because when you go to churches, you go to private, rich individuals, that is where you find more police than you even find police in police stations. For instance, go to all these our churches, you see a lot of policemen sitting down at the churches, not doing anything. In the streets, you will never see a policeman patrolling any of the streets. In America, if you see a street to a policeman.
Thank you. Let him respond. Let him respond to your question. Thank you. The final call on the program, please.
Well, as regards the issue you raised, police have the Commissioner's Monitoring Unit, and as well they have the Provost Marshal. The Provost Office of the State Commands are the sections charged with the responsibility of sanctioning erring police officers. So if such things, comes up, as a responsible citizen of the community, one should be concerned by drawing the attention of the Commissioner of Police. It is not the commissioner that will come to make the arrests. He will deploy the monitoring unit. And the monitoring unit have intelligence officers whose duty it is to go to the area mentioned and monitor what they are doing there. Those are the two units. There is also the one we call the X Squad.
X Squad.
X Squad.
Okay.
They are also operating in private vehicle. They wear mufti, but they are radio because they are well armed. They are the ones who arrest policemen collecting money. But since the thing has now gone nuclear from what you're telling us, they end up not collecting themselves. They put agberos to do it on their behalf. Then it will be incumbent on them, if they are properly informed, to be sure that those so-called agberos who use the name of police to collect are the ones they will arrest, so that they will trace from them to know which policeman that they are going to hand over the money to take it up from there.
Okay. Wow. If we stay here, we will not finish. The matter they say is plenty. And I want to say thank you, Commissioner, for coming in. I really appreciate your input and for you explaining better to us this morning. Thank you so much. All right. My name is Esther Nwachukwu, and I would say we've come to a wrap on today's edition of Issues in the News. To join us tomorrow, same time, for another conversation right here. All right. Have an amazing day.